Hello, everyone. Good morning and good afternoon. Good evening to you as well, depending on wherever you are joining us from. We welcome you to today's episode of Sedat's HR Digest, brought to you by Sedat Consult, your trusted HR partner. My name is Evelyn Iraja Jumbo, and I'm truly excited about today's topic, which is HR's role in effective line management. HR's role in effective line management. It's HR roles goes beyond policy enforcement. It's about empowering supervisors to lead confidently, communicate clearly, which is very important, and build high performing teams. When HR and line managers work in synergy, or we put our heads together, it means that there is the organization they would achieve consistency and also have real results. And to help us unpack this, we have Madam Marilyn Ajua Asari Bediako. She's a regional advisor, both West and Central Africa. We welcome you, madam. Kindly let us know where you're joining us from, your name and your location, and we'll surely acknowledge you in due time. Hello, madam. Let's get right to it. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm very very excited to share this afternoon with you. I'm always very excited when it comes to knowledge sharing, being in a platform, and then talking to like-minded HR people and all other people to really understand what we do as HR and then our impact and value in the businesses that we support.
Right.
My name is actually Marilyn Najwa Sarabediako, which she gave already.
Okay.
I've worked in the most recent is Tony Blair Institute as HR for Western Central Africa. So how this is going to be is I'm going to do brief presentation and then we can actually run into the Q&A session. So without much ado, I'm going to share my screen and take you through a very, very dear topic, which is really, really on my heart. HR support for managers is quite incredible. Just a minute. Let me just share my screen. Please, if you can see my screen, let me know.
Okay, please.
Hello, you can see. Hello.
Hello. I can't
Please,
see
can
it
you see
yet.
my
Not
screen?
yet.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hello.
Yes. So as soon as you can see, let me know because I've shared the screen.
Yes, I can see it now. Introduction.
Right. Okay. So thank you so much. So this
You
topic
are
is really,
welcome.
really dear to my heart because HR does a lot of work and we actually work more with line managers. And is because the line managers are the people that work with the individuals more often. They need our support, they need our guidance, they need our expertise for them to be more effective in what they do to actually support the people that we have been hired to do the work. So I'm just going very briefly so that we can have more time on the Q&A. So how HR supports
Okay.
empower line managers and provide them the right tools is how for them to be able to help the individuals to thrive and develop within the organization. And how do we do that? As HR professionals, we actually provide the support, the guidance, the tools, the resources that the line managers have. And the line managers are the direct supervisors of the people. So they are the front line helping HR implement more of our decisions and the things that we do. An effective line manager is really, really critical. If the line manager is confused, if the line manager doesn't know what he needs to do, doesn't know what kind of support to give, especially for first-time line managers, we need to actually help them a lot to settle in their role, to be more efficient and effective to support the people that actually do the work. So HR is like the pivot, the pointer, the support, and the directional map for effective line management. The reason why we are treating this topic is to actually empower the managers to know what is required to be a leader and be a manager. There's a difference between being a leader and then being a manager. So we, within the HR space, are to help line managers to be more efficient in what they do. I'm sure all of us, or most of us, can actually relate or remember maybe in our early careers when we started work afresh, we've had horrible line managers who had made us even cry at work or even at home, or we could not even be sleeping at night. And equally, we've also had line managers who had been very incredible and supported us. They've been our guide, they've been our mentors. They've actually groomed us to be where we are now. And I have a lot of examples of bad line managers. I have a lot of examples of very, very brilliant line managers that we've worked with. So ways HR can provide support and guidance to line managers is what few ones that we actually will be going through now. In terms of support, one of the key expertise of HR is recruitment. So in terms of recruitment and onboarding, what we would normally be able to help line managers be more efficient in recruiting best talent for teams is to actually help them with job description development, with the screening of candidates, with support with interviews, all the assessment that we need to do. And then when it comes to onboarding, we should be able to guide and help line managers understand what it takes for them to be able to onboard the people, onboard new hires more smoothly, for the new hires to feel accepted in their roles, to feel settled in their roles, for them to understand their expectations, their deliverables, and help them actually settle in within the first 90 days of the organization and then the subsequent years that they're going to live within the business. If we're able to do this really well as an HR, supporting line managers, it actually saves time. We're able to hire best fit candidates, and then we're able to get the new employees that come in to be more productive, much more faster. Other ways we can also help managers is through performance management. I know most of the HR on this platform can actually agree that some of the times we've had some managers who find it really difficult to have difficult conversations or try to actually avoid difficult conversations, or they struggle to even sort out differences or grievances or any sort of misgivings within teams. And it is our responsibility to actually help them understand what the law says. What does the labor law talk about? What are the regulations of the organization? What are the policies? What does the policy say? What are the expectations and deliverables? So in terms of when it comes to performance management, it is our responsibility to actually create and help them be able to design key performance indicators for the teams. It's also important for us as HR to help them train the line managers on how to give and also receive constructive feedback. We also need to help line managers identify potential within the teams and design succession plannings for the organization. We as HR, we help a lot in ensuring that the organization have the right people, the resources, and the sustainability of the organization in the longer term. And when we talk about that, we should be able to have potential employees, have succession plans, have our pools ready, and we have people who are well trained, they've been upskilled, they have the capability, and they can develop within the organization to senior critical roles in the future. Another way we can do that also is to help underperformance. Most line managers are not able to manage performance well. And if care is not taken, we might actually exit an employee for non-performance, but that could have been avoided if we provide the right support for line managers to help people on PIPs, performance improvement plans, or help underperformance right from when we identify the underperformance issues. If we're able to help them do this, we are able to actually have a clear, measurable processes for managers and improve team performance. If we're able to improve team performance, we will have an organization that has enough money coming in. They have the revenue. They are very competitive. There's employer branding. Employees are happy working there. We have employees who will give anything to actually stay with the organization. Retention will be high, attrition will be low, and we will have a very high successful organization for any organization. One other way is training and development. We should be able to identify the skills gaps within teams. And it's not us as HR who is going to do that, it's with the line managers. We need to empower the line managers to be able to see who is the potential, where are the gaps, what training needs to be had for the teams, and actually track and design training plans, and then be able to also look at progress and share outcomes with the line managers for them to actually track how performance, how growth, how training, how development of the teams are actually going. Another critical area is employee relations and conflict resolution. In most times, managers actually try as much as possible to avoid things like conflict resolution. But as humans working together, this is not something that you can avoid. It's not that easy. I will come to work very moody, I'm not happy. Some employee may say one word and that triggers a whole fight, which is unacceptable, but it happens all the time. So HR needs to provide the tools, the policies, the frameworks, the legal education of the laws of the country, the policies of the organization, what regulations actually affect the dynamics of each individual business or the sector that we work in, and be able to guide and lead line managers to have very appreciable level of knowledge on these things. We also need to actually train line managers as mediators. Most of the time, if employee relations issues and conflict is resolved at line manager level, we normally tend to have an organization that actually thrives. If a line manager is able to manage the team in terms of resolving conflicts or have opportunity to even implement a lot of things that really avoid conflicts, HR has a lot of heydays, because we wouldn't have so much trouble dealing with conflicts that might even lead to termination, to dismissals, and a whole lot of legal tussles that normally comes or happens to organizations. So one key thing is for us to train line managers on our labor laws, on the policies, and then procedures really, really well. In other areas like compliance and policy, it is our responsibility to ensure that line managers are very empowered. They know what the law says, they know what the labor act says, they know the internal policies. And we have provided them the right handbooks, the right procedures. And when we do audits, we're able to share audit findings to let them know this is not going well, this is going well. Disciplinary hearings, we should be able to train our line managers on what our disciplinary policy says. How do we do hearings? How do we do our recommendation? What do we do? What's the whole process like? And this will actually help line managers and then employees to manage and stay compliant and avoid legal and ethical pitfalls all the time. Another key areas that HR needs to support line managers on critically is change management support. Whether there's amalgamation of an organization, whether there's a new tool which has been introduced, whether there's a whole buyout of an organization, whether it's redundancies, any form of change, it brings a lot of confusion, it brings a lot of trust issues. They don't know, employees are trying to find information, and it is up to us as lineman, as HR, to actually help the line managers a lot around communication strategies during this time, offering coaching to managing resistance, to maintaining morale. It is our responsibility. And once we're able to do that, we are able to drive the needed change management in a very excellent way. And that would actually reduce tension and risks of an organization going down or reducing performance or revenue going down because there's change management. If there's any changes, we as HR should be able to help line managers to make better decisions and then also be able to help with smooth transitions to avoid or reduce disruption to the team dynamics of any organization. Another area is retention and engagement. We HR normally do the surveys, employee surveys, so we can do employee surveys. A lot of organizations actually do this annually. So they will do an annual survey and you don't keep it under your pillow as HR. Once that is done, it's very critical that you do the engagement and share insights. It is these insights that would actually let you know whether employees are happy, they are not happy, what are they happy about, what they are not happy about, and how you as HR with the line manager will be able to put in the needed interventions for all the issues that were brought up within the survey to be addressed. We need to be able to collaborate with line managers to put in recognition and reward strategies and plans. We also need to help them in terms of flexible working opportunities, type of leave, well-being initiatives to ensure that our teams are not burnt out. One critical thing that employees stay with most organizations are organizations that help a lot with their career development and then employee growth, personal development. And HR, we can shape the conversations with the line managers to be able to identify the potential with the teams, identify who are the strong talent that we have, who are underperforming, who needs support, who needs the next level growth, who needs training, who needs international assignment, who needs a rotation. And all these things are areas that HR needs to support manager on for the team to be motivated to reduce turnover and also reduce burnout and then boost morale. Another key area is workforce planning analytics. HR, we have a lot of information, right? From any organization that has HRIRS, sorry, we have a lot of data on our people. We have data on turnover, we have absenteeism, we have productivity, we have organizational turnover, ROI as an organization, what is our profit and loss, and all of these things within our framework, especially on our human resource information systems. We need to be able to have insights, draw a lot of insights in this, and share with line managers that will actually give them what is really happening within the employee area, whether they are happy working with us, whether they are not happy working with us, and what we can do to actually support them. And then in terms of forecasting and planning, these data insights will be able to help us know maybe for the next 5 years, maybe for the next 10 years, this is the way or the plan or the strategies or the actions that we need to have. This is the number of employees that we will need. These are the new tools. AI has arrived. A whole lot of new tools and applications are available now. And if we have the right data and the right insight, we'll be able to help line managers forecast and plan for the future in terms of staffing. And by giving them this, they'll be able to make better decisions, especially on hiring, scaling, and then resource reallocation. So I've summed all of that up in this nice, in terms of recruitment, support, and all of those. And then there are 6 simplified ways we can help line managers. I'll just talk through the main headlines. One area is offering tailored training programs on our labor laws and regulation, especially on termination, discipline and communication, performance management, and conflict resolution. It's very, very important. Secondly, we can also create simple, accessible HR manuals. We can do FAQs on some of the key questions that line managers have, or a lot of which areas they struggle with. We can do quick Q&As and then share that with them, which will really help them a lot. Again, coaching and support. We should be able to have regular check-ins with our line managers, very regular check-ins. At least if you have line managers who are on site, make sure that HR, you're always checking in with your teams, you are doing your work about, you have official, maybe 1 hour a month with each of your line managers if it's possible, or at least once a quarter, you are meeting every single line manager one by one to have your regular check-ins to see how people are working, how things are, share with them how you the employees feel, any feedback, any data, any insights that you have. It's very, very important. And then for performance management, we should also be able to help them with the performance frameworks, performance policies, the resources, do templates, offer training on how to give and also provide feedback to the teams. One critical area, which is the number 5, is talent and career development. We should be able to guide and help our teams to develop within the organizations that we work in. If I'm not seeing growth as an individual, my only option is to look outside for growth or look outside for opportunity. Don't wait as HR for your employees to come and tell you what's my next. To have conversations on careers. One of the key things, or for example, one of the things which is very cheap and easy to do, which I've always taken, is that we have a large pool of HR platforms like WhatsApp groups and all of those. And we have very intelligent, very powerful HR people on those platforms. You don't need to do anything. Just invite one of these individuals that, oh, I have my where I work, we have teams who are very keen on career development. Can you come over to our organization and have 1 hour session and talk to us about how they can develop their careers? I've done this a lot with most of the HR members, and they are always very eager to join your organization and have these career conversations. It's very important. At least once a quarter, at least once a year, you can just bring in 1 or 2 very, very top level people to come and share their career, how they've developed over the years themselves. And it really brings a lot of inspiration for your employees. So try this and let's see how that works. And when you meet maybe in a year or 6 months, you can tell me how this has helped. And then the final thing was on conflict resolution. We should be, as HR, we should be neutral support for line managers and also train them on our policies, on everything, so that they are empowered to actually solve the problems before it gets to you. Once they are empowered, they have the knowledge, they have everything, they will actually be able to support the teams very, very well. So this is just a final improving areas on how we HR will be able to actually improve manager effectiveness. Training and development, we can actually do coaching, we can leadership training for them, and also help them to communicate better. Communication is one key thing. If managers are not communicating well, we have employees who are very unhappy. I've worked in an organization where somebody has even cried at work because of how the line manager talks to her. And they leave the businesses so easily. And this may be a very critical talent. So communication is very, very important that we train line managers on to help them actually manage the employees that they work with more effectively, more efficiently. Mentorship and peer networks. This is very, very critical. We can always set up mentorship opportunities of mentorship and program for the people that we work with. So let's go back and then try mentorship and peer networks for our people. Another area is regular feedback and performance discussions. We should always check in with our line managers, always check in with our people. Let's see where performance is. Let's get feedback from them. Let's see how things are at their end. Are they burnout? Do they feel well supported? So sometimes you don't even need to speak only to the line manager. You can speak to your team members, the line managers team members, to find out how is the leadership. Is it okay? How are things? Do we need more support? And it's very important that as HR, we check in regularly in terms of performance and feedback. And then we should be able to support line managers and teams with the supportive tools and systems. HRIS has come to stay. There's a lot of apps. There's a lot of apps like Bamboo HR. We have a lot of Oracles. We have Workday. There's so many of them. We even have a lot of local ones in Ghana, in Nigeria, and in Kenya, and in South Africa, and everywhere. There's a lot of them locally. We can use it to actually make the work of the line manager and the people we work with very smooth, very easy, and we need to really invest in areas of HRS for our teams. The last thing is we should consistently reinforce good management leadership values and set the standards. So HR, we don't need to just sit aloof. We should always drum in our values to the organization. We should always instill discipline wherever we work, and then also ensure that we have the right leadership and management standards for the teams, for the people that we work. Even as individuals, we need to have our individual standards. We should have excellence as one of our key values to ensure that me, I personally, as HR, I'm delivering quality work to the people that I work with. I'm delivering excellence to the organization that I work with. And when you have these kind of values and set standards, it actually reflects in all the decisions, your actions, your strategies, your plans, and things that you do. And that actually helped the organization grow, and the organization also get to understand you as an HR, your value to the organization, the value to the people you support, and even to the bottom line. So this is actually the end of the presentation. So I don't know whether Evelyn will come back in before the Q&As, or how does that work, Evelyn? Hello?
Please, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, Madam Marilyn. Hello, Madam Marilyn. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, Madam Marilyn. Please, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you, please.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay. Okay. Yes. Yes, please. I can. I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. So I was actually asking whether you will come in before the Q&A, because I'm done with the presentation.
So far we haven't had any Q&A yet, but I would personally want to ask some few questions.
Right. Okay.
Yes, and I'm saying that we currently don't have any Q&A questions yet. So
Okay.
I would ask you some few questions personally myself.
Right. Okay. That's fine.
But I'd have to say thank you so much for your insightful presentation. Yes, I've learned a lot myself.
You're welcome. With
I'm
I
so
think
sorry
you
for
went.
my network. Yes, I went off, but I'm back now.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So, in your presentation, I would like to find out, how do you define an ideal partnership between HR and line management? Okay, but first of all, does the line manager and the HR on the same level? Are they all on the same level?
Sorry, what did you say?
Yes, I'm asking that. Does the HR manager and the line manager are on the same level? No, we have top managers, we have middle managers, and then we have lower manager. And I'm asking
Right.
that, does the HR manager and the line manager are on the same level?
Okay. So as HR manager, you are a trusted partner for your managers. You are working with your line managers as a partner. So we don't have segregation as to how you deal with a
Hello,
lower
Madam
level
Marilyn.
manager or a senior manager. Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Well, you're all welcome back. after the ad. It's great to have these conversations and waiting for a few key and questions that might actually come through. But whilst we are at it, I just wanted to also something around which teams is very, very critical. We've had a lot of situations where line managers has not managed employees very well. And there's a lot of saying, which is actually backed a lot by research, that more people leave organizations because of their line managers. And it is due to how they treat, how they react, how they manage, how efficient they are themselves as line managers. So it's very, very important that we're able to manage them to be more effective and more efficient. And how do we do this? We should be able to do 360-degree feedback on them. Should be able to find out from surveys, from people, from their line managers, from their line managers, to understand how they work and how their value and impact is on the teams. So doing a 360 is very, very critical, important for us to identify whether a line manager is efficient or not, and what level of support they need to be efficient in what they do. Another key thing is the employee engagement surveys. So once we do the surveys, we normally have the NPS scores. We also have net promoter scores, sorry. And then we also have line manager effectiveness score. It's very critical for you as HR to identify the level of score and then the rating and find out how efficient a line manager is. Third thing is on turnover rates. There are some people in organizations as line managers that have a higher time turnover. Employees join Mr. A's team, within 6 months he's resigned. Somebody is promoted into Mr. A's team, within a year he's resigned. In one of my previous organizations, we had a line manager whose whole team resigned within a year. People join in by January. By September, 60% of the organization have left. By December, 99% have gone. And it's very, very worrying that line managers are unable to actually help us retain staff or reduce attrition. So it's very important that we check the turnover rates per line manager to understand how effective they are. Another area is on performance outcomes, the productivity of the team, the quality of teams, quality of targets met, quality of the what do you call it, revenue per team. Is very, very important for us to know whether this is a very efficient team or a struggling team or a non-performing team. So we should be able to look at organizational KPIs to also measure if each individual line manager to see how efficient and how effective they are on their roles. Another things we can also do is on pulse surveys. We can actually do surveys on leadership behavior and communication. We should be able to identify how effective the leadership style they are using to actually groom and grow the teams that they support. How they communicate to the teams is also very efficient and very important. So we should use pulse surveys to find out leadership and behaviors and communication. Another final thing is on one-on-one feedback sessions. I think I touched on this earlier on. It's very, very important that as HR, we are able to do feedback sessions or skip level meetings. We should speak below the line manager to understand how people are effectively performing, what are their troubles, what are their headaches for them on one manager. So we, through this line manager effectiveness measurement, we would actually be able to also help a lot to bring line managers to top level support and help them to actually grow in their roles and be more effective as managers, more efficient as managers. And I'll actually recap, if there's no questions still, I'll do a final recap on how best or the main key themes of the presentation that I did on how or what to do. And I'll go back to recruitment. So in terms of areas of recruitment, we can help them with process and policy support. In terms of performance management, we can actually help them with frameworks and tools and processes for them and develop capability frameworks for them to use. In terms of training, we can help a lot with skills development for all the team members. Employee relations, we also need to help with advice and legal support and help them to resolve issues more professionally. When we come to compliance, the law, policies, governance, frameworks, we need to provide a policy guidance for them. We need to provide policy document. We need to provide process documents for them, procedures to actually guideline managers to be more efficient in what they do, to minimize employer risks and also liabilities. It's very, very important that we HR help the organization to avoid fines, regulatory issues, and even the closing down of an organization that we work with due to compliance issues. In terms of change management, we should help them a lot with communication support. If we're able to do this better, we're able to reduce the resistance and stress for the teams that they have. Another area is on engagement. When it comes to engagement, HR's key role is to help them with insights and programs. So insight from surveys, insight from feedback, insight from engaging the teams, and we can develop a lot of recognition programs, reward programs to keep employees more excited, boost their morale, and also help with retention. And then when I come finally to workforce planning, we should be able to have enough and efficient and reliable data and forecasting support to actually help them optimize the team structure that we have. If we are not able to do these things to help line managers, they become less efficient, they become ineffective, and this actually also reduces turnover, it increases attrition, we lose revenue as an organization, you lose your value as HR as well. And it's so important that as HR, we're able to identify and share our own values with organizations that we work for, to see that we are adding more value to the bottom line, HR professionals. So thank you so much. This is a summary of the discussions, and I'll leave the rest for our host to actually take it from here. Thank you so much, and I'm very pleased to share this knowledge with each one of you. I really appreciate the time, and thank you all as well for joining me. Hello. Okay, so in terms of final words, I thank everyone so much. I thank Sedat Consult for this opportunity, Supernatural, George, Evelyn, Patricia, and my key takeaway to the organizations that we have. If we are on this call as line managers, we should be able to actually efficiently guide the teams that we help and we support. We should be their mentor. And if we have younger team members with us, we should actually help them grow within the organization, develop their careers, build very exciting and very beautiful careers in the organizations that we work in. Let us be the guide and the light, the pivot, the pivot, the light the guide. I think that's the word I was looking for. The guide for the teams that we actually support. So that people will grow, and in the future it's always very exciting when you see a line manager or somebody within the organization who helped you grow within an organization. It's very, very fulfilling when we're able to help people, support them, and grow them. So my last takeaway is that we should go back to organizations as with this insights, with this information, with this learning, with this knowledge to actually influence and show value to the employees we work with and to the organizations that we support. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Marilyn. This is very insightful. Even though my network has been in and out, but I've also learned quite a few things from your presentation, and it's mind blowing. Thank you so much. We are
You're
grateful.
welcome.
So
You're
to
welcome.
our colleagues, I want to say that my key takeaway from all what I heard is that because I kept hearing empowering, helping. So the HR is here to support a line manager because we shouldn't feel intimidated thinking that the HR is here to make you feel intimidated or wants to take your job or you don't know what to do. They are just there to empower you, to help you become a good leader, to help you communicate clearly and better, and build a very great team for the organization, which everyone would benefit. So that is also my key takeaway that I took from the presentation. We are so grateful for that. Thank you so much, ma'am. So to our
You're welcome.
audience, even though we didn't see any questions, but we hope that you've learned a lot today. You have learned a lot from, yes, you've learned a lot from Madam Marilyn. She's a great person. You can ask her anything. I believe she's on LinkedIn, on social media. You can reach her out, and when you have any questions, she will definitely be there to ask you. So until then, we'll meet next week Sunday. Thank you all for joining, and we'll see you another time. Bye.